Please help me welcome a man I love and admire, and the man I am proud to call my dad, Attorney General Greg Abbott.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's great to be back into my hometown of Longview, Texas. I want to thank the Horaney family so much for opening up their incredible facility here. A facility that was actually began before I even moved to Longview back in 1963. And it's a true legacy in this region. And I'm honored to get to come back to the very grounds where I had the opportunity to grow up. Before I talk to you more about that, I do want to thank my incredible daughter Audrey for that remarkable introduction. You know, it's not all that common to have a teenager get up in front of such a big crowd and introduce her dad. But when you think about it, it's not all that common for a teenager to even talk to their parents. So I'm delighted to have her out here with us. And also I have with me my wonderful wife, Cecilia. We've been married for 31 years now. I cannot tell you how meaningful it is for me to get to come back to Longview and talk to you about what I'm doing. This is where I grew up as a kid. I moved here when I was 6 years old. This is where I began elementary school. It's where I went to my first year of middle school. Longview is where I first felt the grip of a gun. It's where I first played Little League Baseball. And it's where I joined the Boy Scouts, Troop 201, and pledged to do my duty to God and my country. And I am proud that my Scoutmaster, V.G. Rollins, is here today.
All right.
As well as current members of the mighty Troop 201. Won't you guys wave your hands? Well, things have changed for me dramatically since I left Longview, Texas. One is that I no longer play baseball because, among other things, I can't run anymore. What happened to me is that after I went on to college and then graduated from law school, I moved to Houston, Texas. And soon after moving to Houston, Texas, I did something I do every day. I went out for a jog. And while I was out jogging, a huge oak tree crashed down onto my back, fracturing my vertebrae and my spinal cord, leaving me forever paralyzed, and I would never walk again. Well, this last Sunday, July the 14th, the day that I announced that I was running for governor, was the 29th anniversary of that accident. And I want you to know that when you think about what love really means, you have to look no further than my wife. When you think back in time about marriage vows, when a spouse recites those words, for better, for worse, in sickness and in health, it's so easy to recite them. But it is awe-inspiring to see your spouse live up to those vows, which is exactly what Cecilia Abbott has done. Cecilia, thank you so much. Well, piecing my life back together actually began with doctors piecing my back together. They had to fuse my vertebrae back together, and then they put 2 steel rods up and down my back that will remain in my back for the rest of my life. You know, you've heard politicians before talk about having a spine of steel. I really do have a steel spine that I will put to work for you and for all Texas every single day. work to overcome the challenge that I faced by being in a wheelchair, I realized our lives don't have to be defined by how we're challenged. Instead, we get to define our lives by how we respond to the challenges we face. And that's exactly what millions of Texans across the state do every single day. You have single parents challenged by trying to earn a paycheck to help raise their children. You have small business owners like Horaney's trying to find a way to navigate the maze of regulations and taxes. And you have seniors just trying to find a way to make ends meet. Well, all of us share a common bond. All of us understand that we must meet these challenges we face and rise above them. But all of us realize that on occasion, Texans get knocked down, but we always get right back up. And we always take on the tough fights. And that's exactly what I've been doing for you as your Attorney General. That's why when the Ten Commandments Monument on the Texas Capitol grounds came under attack, I defended them all the way to the United States Supreme Court and we won. When your Second Amendment rights came under attack, I defended those Second Amendment rights and firearm freedom all the way to the United States Supreme Court, and we won. If you want to start a fight with a Texan, just try taking away their freedom. Well, also, some of my big fights have been taking on an overreaching federal government where I have defended the constitutional principle of federalism. And that's exactly why I have sued the Obama administration 27 times. Now, I did not invent that phrase, "don't mess with Texas," but I have applied it more than anybody else. It's also why I've been fighting to defend children in the state of Texas. I've been cracking down on the horrific crime of human trafficking. I've been putting away child predators. And I've been defending the most innocent in our society, unborn children. And also, I even fought against the World Court when 2 illegal immigrants in Houston raped and murdered 2 teenage girls. One of them fought back and asked the World Court to intervene in our ability to prosecute them. And I took that case all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court to ensure that justice was served, and we won that fight. And of course, I successfully defended the words, "one nation, under God," and our Pledge of Allegiance all the way to the Supreme Court, and we won. So when it comes to fighting for freedom and your future, I will never stop fighting for you and our fellow Texans, and that's why I'm asking you to elect me your next governor. I want you to know that as your next governor, I'm going to go to work every single day fighting for Main Street, hard-working Texans. Together we can make the future of Texas an even stronger economy. We can do that not with Obama-style handouts and mandates, but we can do that by instead leveling the playing field and get government out of the business of picking between winners and losers and reducing taxes on employers. We can continue to keep the Texas economy #1 in the nation by reining in our debt and reducing the amount the state can borrow. Everyone in this room has to go home every night and balance your budget. So must your state government. And as your next governor, I'm going to do what the federal government has failed to do. I am going to secure our border. Something is wrong when we live in a state that stops a high school valedictorian from mentioning God at a graduation speech, but cannot stop the drug cartels and illegal gangs from coming across our border. As your governor, I will put a stop to that. Just yesterday, I was in McAllen, Texas, on the border. And I got to tell you, the concern there is higher than it is in Longview or Dallas. They see these threats coming across the border dangerously, living with it almost every single day. We will ensure that we will put more boots on the ground, and I will enforce the rule of law right here in the state of Texas. Also, together we can usher in an entire new generation of education for our kids. We need to inspire an entire generation of children to stay in school and graduate either career ready or college ready. And the way that we do that is to empower teachers, schools, and empower parents. You know, we already have way too many bureaucrats, but not enough teachers. We have too many teachers being forced to teach to the test, and not enough graduates prepared to reach for their very best. We can ensure that we have more kids graduating from more schools, both high school and college, to ensure that we have the ready workforce for the next generation. We already have a 21st century economy. Now we need to bring forth a 21st century education program right here in the great state of Texas. Well, these kids right here, kids like Alan Long, Sarah Long, and so many others, they deserve this. And as your next governor, I will deliver this. So I ask you, right here in Longview, Texas, to join me in this fight for our future. Join with me as we stake a claim for the next generation. And join with me as we fight for the ideals and values of the greatest people to live on this planet, the people of Texas. Thank you so very much. God bless you all. And may God continue to bless the great state of Texas. Thank you. This is a victory bell that we will be ringing on election night when we ring in a big-time victory.
We thank all of y'all for coming, and please feel free to talk with Attorney General Abbott and his family, and make yourself at home in our store.
Bye.